What's up, THS? I'm Mrs. Smith from the library. Our theme this week is I'm not crying, you're crying. And these are my top three. This week, the other Mrs. Smith and I have pulled some heart-wrenching tearjerkers for you. If for some reason you're looking for something to cry about, you might try one of the books that we're talking about this week. And the first one is Just Mercy by Bryan Stevenson. Just Mercy covers the first several years of Bryan Stevenson's work as an appellate attorney representing people who have been convicted of a capital offense. So these are people who have been sentenced to death. A lot of his clients were either wrongfully convicted or just otherwise victimized by a flawed legal system. But the one that he focuses on the most in Just Mercy is Walter McMillan. When Mr. Stevenson first meets Mr. McMillan is in jail. He's already served 6 years of his sentence for the murder of a young white college student in a small town in Alabama. Mr. McMillan was convicted in a one-day trial. There were over 40 witnesses who gave him an alibi saying that he was somewhere else on the day of the murder. There's no physical evidence that connects him to the crime or the victim, and the only witness that the state has is a jailhouse snitch who has already recanted his testimony. It would be incredibly difficult to read this book and not be moved, or at least contemplate the reasons why in our country we sometimes treat people who are wealthy and guilty with more dignity than we treat people who are poor and innocent. The best thing about this book is that Bryan Stevenson is a real person, an actual attorney who, as we speak, is still continuing his work with the Equal Justice Initiative, and you can read about that in his book called Just Mercy. All right, so book number 2 is short, skinny, and easy. And when I say easy, I'm talking about like accessibility and vocabulary. I don't mean that it's an easy read because it will crush your heart. It is devastating. It's called Orbiting Jupiter, and it's by Gary D. Schmidt. Orbiting Jupiter is narrated by a 12-year-old boy named Jack. He lives on a dairy farm in Maine with his parents. He's a good kid. He's never been in trouble. He just goes to school, comes home, milks the cows, minds his own business. His parents announced that they're going to be bringing a foster child into their home, and this will be a boy named Joseph. Joseph is a little bit older. He's recently been released from a juvenile detention facility. The rumors are that he almost killed a teacher, and despite his young age, he has a baby daughter named Jupiter, whom he's never met. There is so much that happens in the less than 200 pages of this book, but the most important part is that Jack and Joseph become friends. They become brothers. They grow up together over the course of this one winter in their life, and it is a fast-track pass to your feelings. You could probably read this book in just a couple hours and then, I don't know, maybe cry on the way home on the bus.
Hey folks, I'm Mrs. Smith, and I'm going to talk to you about The Fault in Our Stars by John Green today. This book is a tearjerker. I'm usually the type of person who can read a chapter in a book, put it down for a couple days, come back to it, but when I started The Fault in Our Stars, I had to finish the whole thing in like 2 days. If you start it, you need to have a box of Kleenex and a pint of ice cream and be prepared to not get off of your couch for at least a day because it is painfully sad in the most wonderful way. The story is about a girl named Hazel Grace who's 16 years old. She has thyroid cancer and it's impacting her ability to breathe. It's kind of impacting her lungs. She's pretty isolated from the world, and her mom thinks it would be a good idea for her to go to a support group with other kids that have cancer. Hazel does not want to go, but she does, and she meets Gus, who is 17. He also has cancer, and he has had to have a leg amputated because the cancer spread to his leg, and immediately she and Gus fall in love. This story is powerful because of the things that are going on in their personal lives. It deals with how two teenagers are grappling with their illnesses, with their potential death that might be coming soon, with the idea that the cancer could come back at any time, and also just trying to be teenagers who are young and very, very much in love. So it is also a story about whether or not teens can truly be in love at this age, and Hazel, Grace, and Gus truly, truly are. This story is heartbreaking, but it is worth it. So if you have a little bit of time and you are willing to read it all in one go, give it a shot.
If you're a glutton for punishment like me and you like to sometimes weep uncontrollably while you read a book, any of the 3 books that we talked about this week should fit the bill. Or maybe some of them have reminded you of a book that you already know about that gets you right in the feels and you want to find out if we have it available in our library. Go ahead and click the link in your email, or you can send me an email at me, whatever you want to do, and we will try and get a book to your homeroom as soon as possible. Thank you all for listening. I hope you have a beautiful week. I will be back again with some more book recommendations for you later. Take care. Bye-bye.